Hello, everybody, and welcome back on the Wednesday night edition of Inside the Headset. We're going to roll over to Memphis, going to dig into that private school sector. We're going to talk to the head coach of the Christian Brothers Purple Wave, the only coach we talk to in the private sector on our Wednesday night edition, and head coach Thomas McDaniel. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing great. You don't have much private school representation, huh?
No, I don't. And, of course, you get kids like certain kids out of our area that end up going over to Brentwood Academy. And, I don't know what all they buy or what all they get together for those kids, but it's working. Tom Krager works for them. You know that. Listen,
oh, good grief. You're going to make me take up for – you're gonna make me take up for Tom Krager.
Listen, if you want to know the recruiting trail, or you need more players, just hire Tom Krager. I mean, he'll send them right your way. He'll come over to one of your scrimmages, and he'll go scout other players, and then he'll call you up and tell you where the kids are. I mean, that's Tom Krager.
Well, I will say this. It's funny how life changes and your perspective changes. But at one time I was like you, a jaded guy that looked at the as a have and have-nots, but now that I'm on the other side, it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is, and it's funny, man. It's like the Black Plague, like the everybody. It don't matter where you are. You know what I'm saying? The grass is always greener.
Well, I was only going to say only one thing, Coach. Anybody that wants to go, and your purpose is of if you start off there or whatever, but I mean, it's going to continue on. I mean, I've decided I've done what I need to do at this school. I'm going over here. I mean, if anybody,
that's the world we live in now.
That's the world we live in.
Yep.
And I've accepted it. I'm not in section B of the newspaper. I mean, I'm giving Tom a hard time, but it's not Tom. I mean, what I'm saying is, it started at the college level. I mean, Grant.
Everything trickles down.
Everything trickles down, and it doesn't matter. I'm working for a company now. It's got a couple of offices in Texas, and if anybody doesn't think oil money doesn't move people, they are nuttier than a fruitcake on 4th of July. I'm telling you, I mean, Texas football and some of the oil money, and there's probably more in the high school out there than there is in the college ranks, because it's more fun to go to work, and one of your partners on hey, we gave it to you on Friday night, or whatever the case may be. I mean, it is this whole deal of a young man deciding, I've played a couple of years here and I'm going to play a couple of years over here, or whatever. That's going to go on. That's not going to say, and I don't think any state organization is going to try to monitor it, because it's going on everywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm conflicted about all that. I didn't know this was the angle we were going with when we started this conversation, but I'll tell you, it's a struggle for me, because look, we all want good players, and I when I was young, I thought that you could coach, you could out coach other people, and the Jimmies and Joes didn't matter, but the Jimmies and Joes do matter. There's a developmental side to it. There's a culture side to it. There's a program longevity to it. There's all these different things that all matter. But at the end of the day, when you got a guy that's a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, a little bit more athletic, that guy usually wins. And so, the beauty of high school football for me has always been that you can take a guy that maybe doesn't look like a college prospect on the offensive line and turn him into a great high school player. And I think you can still do that. I mean, I know here we still try to, I guess we thrive under the idea that we're going to take what we have and try to develop him as best we can. And I mean, there's always going to be naysayers like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure that's what you did with Dallin Hayden. But, Dallin Hayden came here on his own accord, and his dad and his family felt like this was the best fit for him. School-wise and program-wise, whatever. But anyway, my point is, we're in this world now with the NIL and guys just picking up and moving from one school to another, and just being open about it in the newspaper and Twitter and all that. I don't know. It feels a little it's a little bit above my pay grade, I guess. I don't. That's not what I look at as high school football, and really what high school football was supposed to be about was you take yours, I'll take mine, and let's see who's better. But it's gotten a little bit more convoluted, and I don't love the direction it's going. But I agree with you. I think it's the inevitable.
Well, and Coach, I wasn't trying, but you have been president of the Coaches Association. I'm sure the question comes up. I mean, or someone says, "What do you think?" And everybody knows you're an English graduate, and you've got a noodle, and you're very well spoken, and you normally play both sides of the ball. I can think of, I don't know how many kids went to Brentwood Academy or any of the other schools. I mean, we had a bus come over here and get a kid that was in Murfreesboro, and they took him over to Innsworth, and he won several state championships in football and several state championships in basketball. I mean, somebody was challenging me the other day and said, who else has won 7 rings? And I said, Corn Elder. I'm not going to deny it. Corn was an excellent athlete. At the same time, we all knew it. We just looked at it as that's what his family has made a decision to do, and Corn, and it turned out great for Corn Elder. I'm not saying he could have gone to Oakland High School and done great or anything.
I wish he would have.
Oh, we all wish he would have. I mean, but you did have Precious Valentine. You did have Precious.
Yeah, but Corn was just an 8th grader back then. But neither here nor there. It's funny as I hear you say this stuff too. Like, again, now that I'm on the other side, I'm in the other side of the grass.
Yes, and I'm not. I love the opinion.
I know you're not. I just when you think about it, like whatever the kid, whoever you want to say, Jalen Ramsey, I don't care.
Jalen Ramsey, Derek Barnett, any of them.
I do, I've always said, look, I was public school educated. I taught in public school for 15 years. The majority of my public school was at Riverdale and Oakland, obviously, and I spent 1 year at Moore County. But I believe in public school, and I grew up in public school, and I love my time in public school. But there is a different dynamic in the private environment. And
absolutely.
Whether you like it or not, whether people want to hear it or not, you get more personal attention. It's just different, and I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying it's different. So anyway,
Coach.
That was always the evil. That was always the evil empire of the conversation is D1, D2. I had one of my great buddies. I won't say what his name is, but one of my great buddies used to say the fake D2s, the ones that wouldn't claim that they were given financial aid but were. That was always a conversation that got brought up. But here's the deal. The bottom line is, I think the TLS Blaze figured it out better. Now you got the element of the boarding schools that's also becoming a bigger issue. But look at Murfreesboro, and it is such a God, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a town where people move around a lot.
Transit.
A lot of apartments.
Transit.
Yep, a lot of rentals and things like that. So I mean, I remember even back when in my days at Oakland, where a kid could, be playing for Blackman one night, and the next week he moves to Riverdale. That's not the way it's really supposed to be. But at the end of the day, times change, and you got to adapt and figure it out. But it is we're definitely living in a weird space. I'll say that. And I still believe in the locker room culture, the family environment, the really trying to create young men through the game of football, and so that's I don't focus on other aspects as much as I used to, and it's probably helped my blood pressure a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're all competitive. We want to win, but there is some inequities, I think, in certain situations, but that's life.
Coach, I went to a rural high school. I mean, Judy and I was just talking about this. We went to the same high school. We graduated from that same high school. We're talking tonight. We look at this roster of coaches tonight. I mean, I'm getting ready to bring on Burt Brown from Albertville, and he's got 1,707 kids, and McEwen's got 524. So that's a differentiator when I talk to Rick Rice versus Coach Burt Brown.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's numbers. But then again, I look at me from a rural area. I mean, if my parents, if there'd been a private school down the road and they could afford it, and I had the opportunity to go there, man, I went to school with kids from Trinity High School at Eastern Kentucky University, and I was in a fraternity. And when they stood up as pledges to tell who they were, man, you want to talk about a proud individual. As he said, I graduated from Trinity High School in Louisville, Kentucky. He stressed it. And you could tell those kids, hey, they breezed through their first 2 years of college. They knew how to study. Man, they knew how to go over a book. I mean, I knew, I'm not beating up my teachers from a rural area, but I didn't pay attention all the time, but at the same time, I'm trying to say it was a different life for those guys, and I realized it, and that was the first wake-up moment when I had at Eastern Kentucky University is, when private school, I mean, those guys are prepared a whole lot more for college and the next phase in life, and that's just part of the learning process at a young age. They're getting it a lot better. They're getting a lot more structured learning, and it's a different piece of the pie. People just don't understand till you get.
Yeah, no, it's different. Like
it's
again,
different, man. It is strong. It is strong.
Some of my most memorable kids are still from Riverdale in my first couple of years, and my years that I spent as the head coach at Oakland. Some of my most, precious memories that I have from different situations with those kids. Tom Nolan was somebody that I, always respected the way that he built the morale around his school at Riverdale. I worked for Bill Spurlock for 7 years, and the thing about Bill Spurlock is you knew where you stood with him, and whatever he said, that's what he was going to do. And so, you try to take things from. I learned a lot of great, valuable things from some really good leaders in the Rutherford County area. And, I'm indebted to those people because I feel like they've helped me get to where I am today. But, again, just different. Here's what I do know, Stort. We're about 15 minutes into this thing, and we're
burning time. We're burning. We're
fixing to build a Joe Rogan podcast on the timeline here.
Let's talk Christian Brothers football. You guys, how's it going?
It's good. I mean, I don't know how good we are. We've had tough scrimmage with Henry County and Bartlett, and then we had another tough scrimmage with Houston, and then we had a jamboree with Munford. I think we're pretty decent. It looks like we got good team chemistry. We've got good leadership. We've got a fun group of kids to coach. Got quite a bit of experience coming back. We got 7 guys on defense that played significant time last year. So I believe that our defense should be pretty strong. And, got 4 offensive linemen returning from last year. And our quarterback, who had a really good year last year, graduated, but our guy that's coming in this year, that's a senior, we're excited about. Dual threat kid, can run it and throw it. But we've got some lack of experience, if you will, at the skill position on offense. So we're pretty good up front. Going to have to grow up quickly at the skill positions, but excited to see where we are in the next coming weeks. Obviously we play White Station Friday night. They're going to be athletic, and it's always a fun home opener. It's a good rivalry game within. They're probably 4 or 5 miles from us, and a lot of kids. Going back to what you said, it's the public versus private. It's a rivalry type atmosphere, and their kids show up. They got a big band, but I don't think it's it's not a hatred type thing. It's a healthy, it's a healthy type competition, and so it'll be fun, and it'll be a big crowd here at at Tom Mix, and. I'm excited to start year 9. It's hard to believe, but this is year 9 for me here at Christian Brothers, and feels like it was just yesterday.
How many years you got in, Coach? You started coaching in 2008, wasn't it? 2008?
Man, no. Well, I started as a head coach in 2007.
Okay.
But my first year coaching was 2001, and I don't know, man. Yeah, I tell people all the time. I mean. I've been a head coach for a long time, and I feel very blessed that I've been given the opportunities I've been given. Yeah, I don't know. I feel good, but it does wear you out sometimes, and I wish I could brush some stuff off and let some stuff fly by the wayside. But I don't know if I'm quite as spicy as I was 10 years ago, but I'm still, I'm still pretty high strung. I had to go to a physical 2 days ago, and to listen to my doctor talk about the way that he felt about my presence in the room was pretty comical. So it just is what it is. I'm not going to change. I just, I am who I am. You don't have to like it, but it's not a facade. It's not a show. I'm high strung. I get worked up, and I want things done the right way. So that's just personality flaw.
Well, and I still remember I was at Oakland High School on a Friday night, and you played White Station. And first play of the game, they threw a screen pass to a guy named Dylan Mitchell, who's now playing for the Edmonton Elks, and he ran it back for a touchdown, and you ended up winning the game. But towards the end of the game, we started seeing a full athlete of Dylan Mitchell. I mean, because he was literally playing 1-on-11. I mean, the guy was just he was just stud. You knew if this guy had a few more blockers and a few, I mean, you could go a long way.
I'll tell you the difference between that Dylan Mitchell. That Dylan Mitchell was trying to be tackled by George Beacey and Tyler Black and Josh Cunningham, and Josh Smith and Kevin Prather. That Josh Cunningham or that Dylan Mitchell. Then you go fast forward a year to the Christian Brothers when he was a senior, and the guys that I was trying to have tackling, and I don't know if they'd have touched him in a phone booth. His senior year, he was just unbelievable. But yeah, he was one heck of an athlete, man. That's for sure.
I will leave it at this, and then we'll go. The night that you played Octavius, and I took the video over there, and you said, "Stork, we've got 5 guys within 5 feet of him. Can't touch him. He was that night. He was out of control. I mean, he could do some things with the football. Still haven't been done in this county, Coach. Still haven't been done.
Well, thank you for busting open those wounds mentally, and those still can still harbor some sting to them.
No, so but we became friends. No, that's when we became friends because I brought the video to you. You didn't have your film crew didn't have a charged battery. That was when we became. That was when we became friends. That's when Philip called me.
At least something good came out of it that night.
That's when Philip called me and said, "Coach McDaniel doesn't have the video. Run it over to him on an SD card." And next thing I know, I was over at your house. Next thing I know, it's 6:00 at night, and we're still talking. So we've always had a great time and a great relationship. Coach McDaniel,
I love it.
You are you're a special person. I tell you what. Thanks for being on the show, and I'm gonna slip on down to Alabama and talk to Burt Brown.
All right, that's another Golden Eagle. All right, brother.
All righty, Purple Wave.
See you,
bye.